Today's V8 Supercar action is proudly brought to you by Mobil 1. Welcome to Kyalami Grand Prix of Entertainment and the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit, as always, for Festival of Motoring. How much better do you want it to have all the supercars in action? And Mobil 1 V8 Supercars joins the Festival of Motoring as part of the on-track entertainment this weekend. And a big battle expected amongst the usual contenders at the front end of the field. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what's going to happen out there as well. Let's catch up now with Terry Wilford and see how things are going in the series.
Yeah, the season's been going well. We introduced a few changes within it, and all of a sudden there's been a renewed interest in the way of new competitors coming in and inquiring about cars, looking for cars, purchasing cars and that. So it's good for us as a formula, it's good for Mobil. The season, I must say, hasn't been too bad. Racing is racing, and if people seeing cars overtaking and good close battles and that, I think we're ticking the boxes on what the people want to see out there, and that the cars are fast, they make a good noise, and they spit flames and do all sorts of funny things. But through the season we decided to look at a few options on how to create a slightly better budget class, but without making two separate races and sort of keeping cars in classes apart. And we want our cars bunched up, and what we decided to do is we introduced GT2. The GT1 cars haven't changed in any way. However, the GT2 runs on good gears. We run a slightly lower rev limiter on the car. And what's happened is that we've taken a surplus of very good used tires, and we've introduced them in. So we have 100+ tires available to guys to come and choose and see what they want to use. And we had to slow the cars down a little bit with the RPM, but it's minimal. We certainly want to get it out there that, guys, we've created this class that's a lot more inexpensive, and you're going to get a car, you're going to get tires and all sorts of cool perks with it.
A big perk of the weekend was Ben Morgan joining the series again as a guest driver.
Something I've been looking forward to for a while. I'm a guest driver in the V8 Extreme Supercar, in the V8 Supercar category this weekend. This is a car that we've rebuilt. A lot of changes to the engine and the gearbox. So this is a trial run, not only a race for today.
Julian Familiaris is the man who leads the GT1 Championship.
Look, it's going to be quite a difficult weekend. We've got 3 heats, all double points. The field's quite big as well, which is good for the series. We just got to take it easy. The main goal is to finish all 3 heats. It's been a tough year all round, and maintaining the points lead's been really difficult. So just pushing forward and keeping our confidence up, but taking it one race at a time. So we've got quali now at 11, and we'll see where that puts us for race 1 and 2. Race 3 being obviously being the reverse grid of race 1 results. So should be an interesting weekend.
Steve Herbst is the man who leads out GT2. Let's see what his plans are.
To try and do it as good as possible, as well as possible, I should say. But we've got Larry, who's very strong. He had problems in PE, but he's very strong. And then we have Antoni, who hasn't raced for a while, but he's got a very strong car. So it's going to be hard work, but at least my car looks pretty.
And that's half the battle won. If your car looks good, well done, Steve. Looks like we're going to be in for a bit of an epic fight here amongst the Mobil 1 V8 Supercar drivers, but they've got to get qualifying done and dusted first. It's time to get out on track to see exactly who's going to put it onto the front row and possibly take on the 6-time champion, Kyalami. Also from Ranfantine, it's great to have his good friend and arch rival Ben Morgan, who's back in the field too, as that guest driver for the weekend. Nice to see Antoni Marks stepping back into a car as well. New colours going out there with Thomas Reed. Standard Coca-Cola red that he's been running for a long time. He's now changed up. Let's see if those new colours will do him any good at the front end. Problems for Kyalami. He's crashed out. Oh, that's huge in qualifying. Definitely don't want to see that too many times, but the 6-time champion looks like he's out, and it's gone down to 1 lap. That's put Thomas Reed at the front end of the field ahead of Julian Familiaris, your championship leader. Ben Morgan makes a welcome return ahead of Terry Wilford and Larry Wilford, and Tony Marks there in 6th place. Lombard down in 7th, not quite where he needs to be, with Alki Kompon, Dahl, and then a good effort there coming from Wilford.
Fantastic. We like Kyalami, and we were on pole last time. We did a lot of preparation. As you can see, the guys have changed the color to purple. So purple means good luck, I believe, and thanks to Mobil 1 for putting on a great show. So hopefully we can carry this into the weekend.
Let's see if Larry Wilford is feeling as confident as you are, Thomas.
Yeah, I am. It's Kyalami, and it's an important race. So to put it on pole in GT2 is right up there, and I'm happy for my sponsors as well.
That's for sure, as final preparations now go down for the first race of the Mobil 1 V8 Supercars. The man who has to get his car back on track quickly as possible is Mackie Adlam. Let's see how quick this team can get that car back on track. It's time to go racing with the Mobil 1 V8 Supercars. Stand by as the Rolling Thunder makes its way down into the final corner at Kyalami Ingwe corner. And it is Thomas Reeb who'll set the pace. Familiaris alongside him. Look out for Ben Morganhood pushing through the pack hard and fast. Going to make that guest drive maybe a permanent one next year as he looks to get that car of his back up into race trim. Terry Wolford on board with him as he heads down towards turn 1, Crowthorne corner. Trying to close things down there, as you can see, onto those first 3 cars. And they start to fan out. You can see already some defensive driving coming out of Reeb down in towards Crowthorne. Wolford already under pressure from Mackie Adlam. Great job there from the team to get that car sorted out. He's looking to try and dive through as they come out of Barbecue, heading towards Yuxke. And out of Barbecue, you can see, look how tight things get up there with Med Morganroot just holding that second pack up. Top 2 getting away slightly now. Morganroot in third with Wolford on his tail and Mackie Adlam pushing right behind there as in Tony Marks. And look out for Warren Lombard. He didn't quite get the start he wanted, didn't quite get the qualifying he wanted either. But Lombard has got a very, very fast car underneath him, and I'm sure he'll try and get that car up as high as possible. They come out of Clubhouse heading towards the S's for the first time. Pressure coming from this man, Julian Familiaris. Dimitar Racing Corvette has been really superb and sublime all season long. This is the car they've all had to try and beat, and it's the reason why he hangs on to the championship lead into this round at Kyalami. Up to the top of the hill. He's got to try and find a way through on those new colours of Thomas Reeb. Looks like that purple seems to be working quite nicely for him for this point in time. Inside line coming from Larry Wolford. Larry Wolford diving through, trying to find a way past on Marks. Can he find it? No, not just yet. Very close between the two of them. Inside line as well, coming out of Mackie Adlam. Adlam has a look at Terry Wolford. Almost gets up close and personal, gets side by side, and then has to just tuck in behind as they go through Cheetah. Inside line now from the Jaguar. Has he got through? Yes, he has. The Schick and Fuchs car being outgunned there. As we go on board with Mackie Adlam as they come out. Wolford's on his outside. That's a great shot, actually. Wolford trying to fight back at Mackie Adlam and get back ahead of the Jaguar. But it's the Adlam Auto Jag now who moves up into the top 3 or top 4 position just behind Ben Morganroot. How many times have we seen that in the past? Morganroot versus Adlam. Adlam has taken 6 championships back to back in this category. And certainly is a man to watch out for when it comes to the form of V8 supercar racing. Although he's got a couple of new contenders and a couple of old guns around him at the moment, he's certainly got what it takes to get to the front end by the end of this run. And he's now looking to close things down there on Ben Morganroot, the maestro. Terry Wolford just behind him, losing a little bit of ground as they went towards Sunset. But the Fuchs car looking very good still. They're not going to give it up without a fight as they head towards Clubhouse. Late braking from Wolford closes the gap down ever so slightly there on Adlam. And then runs out onto the rumble strips to head towards the S's. Further back, Marks continues the fight. Great battle there between Antoni and Larry Wolford. And Larry Wolford wants to be the head of GT2s right at this stage. He looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Front end fight continues as Familiaris closes things down onto the back end of Thomas Reeb, looking for a way past. Adlam hasn't quite got onto the back end of Ben Morganroot at this stage, but he's definitely got his sights firmly set on that Morganroot Ford and Mazda car. Wolford trying the same move there on Antoni Marks as they come up towards Leeuwkop. Can he make it thick this time? Looks like he might have got through as they come down onto the breaking point for Crocodiles. This is where things could change up. Mackie Adlam closing down on the back end of Ben Morganroot. Morganroot has got his eyes on those rearview mirrors because Mackie Adlam is right there now and looking to attack. Adlam can see the top 2 getting away and he doesn't want to get them too far up the road. There's a long lap around the circuit, and if they get too far up the road, he might not have enough time. He's pulling away now from Terry Wolford. Wolford also not having an answer there to Mackie Adlam now that he's got onto the back end of Morganhood. Maybe Morganhood can hold him up slightly and give Terry a chance to get back into contention for a top 3. Top 2, look at this. Oh man, it's just like a trailer on the back end of that Chevy Lumina. The Corvette forming that trailer heading down towards Crowthorne. And Familiaris wants by, but he can't find a way through. So it certainly looks like Thomas Reeb is using those new colours to a very good advantage. Third place comes out of Crowthorne, heading into the barbecue and Yuxke part of the complex. And this is a tight and twisty little section here. These big V8s start to slip and slide at this stage. And there you can see a little bit of a wider line coming from Terry Wolford. Exactly what I expected to see as he pushes hard now in the Fuchs and Schick machine. This car is absolutely hauling. Now that he's got a chance to close onto the back end of Adlam, looks like he's a bit more fired up than what he was. And Morganhood has provided that with the concertina effect, slowing both these cars down behind him. Once again, looking out that rear wing and straight into the face of Terry Wolford as he continues his attack onto the back end of this Jaguar. The Fords and Jaguars fighting hard here as they come through the S's, now heading back up towards the top of the hill and back towards Leerkop. See Wolford just battling a little bit there with the front end as he came out of the second S. Couldn't quite get the power down, but he's now got the power down and heading up the hill. These two getting away, back on board with Familiaris as they exit Leerkop, heading down towards the sweep. Now let's see if he lifts off here. This is absolutely everything you got. Fourth gear, pinned, and yes, he does not lift at all through there, does Familiaris, and neither did Reeb. There was not a brake light coming on whatsoever on either of those two cars. Speaking of brake lights, around the outside looking for a late breaker is Adlam. Oh, how do you want to do that? On the legend that Ben Morganhood, he goes around the outside. Ben tried to go defensive, was too late under braking, and Mackie Adlam has now moved up to third. So Adlam now tries to get away from Morganhood, who's got his hands full already of Terry Wolford as they go into Ingwe corner, the final turn. And it's Wolford up the inside of Ben Morganhood, dropping him down one position. So Terry Wolford now fighting hard, and let's see if he can keep it all together now ahead of Ben Morganhood. He sees Mackie Adlam pulling away slightly. He wants to go with Adlam. But here comes Morganhood. Oh, he got great drive out of that final turn, and under braking into Crowthorne, retakes the position and moves back into fourth place. Fantastic fight between those two, that's for sure. These two continue on their way as well. It looks like Familiaris looks a little bit more dangerous. We saw that coming down onto the braking point into Crocodiles. He's now a lot closer than what he has been coming through Clubhouse and Sunset. Sunset's first. A little bit of sun glare there on the Perspex windscreen. As they come into Clubhouse, he closes down yet again. Is there a chance here for Familiaris to find a way past? That Cafe 9 Automotive and Mobil 1 car has been a very, very wide car to get around, and that Chevy Lumina with Reeb at the wheel is keeping him at bay. The third of the Corvettes on track, still continuing the fight there, is Anthony Marks and Larry Wolford. Larry's lost a little bit of ground there. Further back in the pack, Sam Dahl, international prospect there, all the way from Europe, and fantastic to have him back in the field. He's running just a little way. Oh, problems there for Wolford. Wolford spinning out. That's a huge moment there for Terry Wolford, and looks like he's going to be losing out. Looks like, yeah, a lot of cars going flying past him. Looks like it was down in the bowl there that Terry Wolford got it all wrong. Coming to the line. There you go, diving on the inside. Oh, did Reeb just make a mistake? I think he has. They come to complete another lap, and Thomas Reeb loses out as Familiaris hits the front for the first time. So Julian Familiaris leads things out for the Dimatoa Racing Corvette team down towards Crowthorne, and he pulls a big margin. He's pulled away ever so slightly. In fact, it's a big margin there over Thomas Reeb. I wonder if Reeb had a bit of an issue there. Looks like he might have maybe picked up some kind of a gear issue. Yeah, gearbox issues there, unfortunately for Thomas Reeb, and it's allowing him to drop back into the clutches of Mackie Adlam. Now, Familiaris leads the championship, remember, but he's got a 6-time champion back-to-back, starting to close down on second place Thomas Reeb. And Mackie Adlam, he can see that Corvette up the road, and that's going to be his target for the rest of this race. Reeb goes flying past as Familiaris slows. Familiaris has got a problem as well. Can you believe it? Julian Familiaris with an electrical problem there in race number 1. What an issue, and what a turnaround here. This is Thomas Reeb now defending from the multiple champion. Reeb looked like his days were all gone and dusted, and unfortunately with that gearbox problem he dropped to second. He's now fighting for first again as Familiaris pulls off the circuit, heading into Clubhouse corner. That is a massive loss to the front end of that field, and of course the championship could possibly be up for grabs now as well. As we go back here, the replay of Terry Wolford looping it out down into Crocodiles. Exactly what I thought, just a little bit wide, and maybe onto the dirty part of the track there. Just got caught out. Wolford, has he got going again? No, he hasn't. That car is now stricken on the sideline, and Marshall's now just telling the other drivers, possible safety car maybe need to be employed here, with Wolford in quite a dangerous position. In fact, red flag. So coming to the line, haven't seen the red flag just yet, so it's going to be Mackie Adlam looking for the victory. Ben Morgenroot in second place and Thomas Reeb in third, but if the red flag has come out, as it has there, you can see it flying, it's going to be one lap back and the results will change ever so slightly as they cross the line there. That is race 1 done and dusted for Mobil 1 V8 Supercars, and it is Mackie Adlam who gets the victory. Thomas Reeb moves up into second place ahead of Ben Morgenroot. Larry Wolford finished up at the top end of GT2 in fourth place overall, beating Anthony Marks and Warren Lombard, and Sam Dahl, Steve Herbst, Familiaris and Terry Wolford with the DNFs at the end of race 1. Let's go down in pit lane and find out exactly what went wrong there with Julian Familiaris.
We started the race off quite clean, got through turn 1. Thomas got a good start. I followed him for about 5 laps, roughly. He had really good pace. I couldn't really find any place to overtake him. Going into the last corner, I think something happened. He just ran a little bit wide and he tended to back off after that, so I think maybe a technical issue for him. I went down the straight, 3 laps to go, and when I came down through turn 4, car just went completely dead. So it's a tough one to swallow. You know, we kind of brings a championship to a place we don't really want it, but just must congratulate Mackie Adlam. Him and his team had a big off in qualifying, and they put the whole team together and they put a lot of effort in, and he managed to come from the back and win the race. So hats off to that whole team, and yeah, well done.
Larry Wolford takes the victory in GT2.
It was a tremendous race. I actually enjoyed it, and I'm sure Anthony did as well. Kyalami has once again provided the old Chev versus Ford challenge, and I'm pleased to say that the Ford converted it today, but tomorrow's another day, and we know how fast these Chevs are, particularly on the straight, so we look forward to tomorrow.
Fantastic team effort to get Mackie Adlam back on track, and the victory going for race 1.
Yes, I tell you what a turnaround, and it's only all the glory to God, first of all, and then my team. Without them, absolutely not possible, and unfortunate for Jules and Thomas having missed trouble, but we'll take it. A win is a win, and we are so thankful. Thanks, man.
It's great to see the crowds coming out for Festival of Motoring and enjoying all the action being provided for our Mobil 1 V8 Supercars. Race 2 is about to get underway, but it's really awesome to see the youngsters and everybody getting up close and personal down in pit lane with these big V8 Supercars. The fun's all done. It's time to go racing now for race 2. Race 2 is going to see Julian Familiaris try and get back at the front end of this championship. We're on board with Mackie Adlam as they're about to go into rolling thunder mode. The lights go out and we go racing. Mackie Adlam's already taken 1 victory. Julian Familiaris picking up that electrical issue yesterday. He's hopefully going to have it sorted out and be able to run at the front end of the field. Adlam running wide, taking out some of the cones. I don't think they've taken those cones away from the exit point of the gun. Oh, and speaking of losing it, there you go. Cafe 9 Automotive and Mobil 1 V8 Supercar of Thomas Reeb. The pole man spins out. And he's now dropped right to the back of the pack. Leading things out, though, is Terry Wolford in the Fuchs and Schick Mustang. And that Mustang is really pushing hard now to try and stay ahead of race 1 winner, Mackie Adlam. Adlam looking in his rearview mirrors, he'll see the Corvette of Julian Familiaris. It's the usual contenders in GT1 as they come through Sunset for the first time. It's a nice rear camera angle here on that rear wing of Mackie Adlam's car. Behind them, Familiaris. Much better start this time from Warren Lombard. He's now up slightly higher up than what he was yesterday, pushing hard to try and get into that mix. As they come through here, you can see there's Sam Dahl just in the background trying to close down onto the back end of Larry Wolford, who has resumed a battle that's been raging. Oh, and problems at the top end. Wolford's gone straight into the tyre barrier. Looks like he might have run out of brakes at the top of Leerkop. And great evasive driving there from Mackie Adlam, just avoiding the touch there between those two cars. The rest of the pack have got through, but Wolford is stuck on the exit of the kiddie litter as they head down the mine shaft and continue the battle. Familiaris now up in a second place behind Mackie Adlam. As they push hard, you can see just how hard they're going to have to push now, as they've lost a couple of cars right from the word go. Look in the background as Thomas Reeb already ticks off 1 car coming down into the bowl. So Reeb now trying to make up lost ground after the spin in turn 1. Has Wolford got going again? We'll have to keep an eye on that and see if he does get back on track. But it's Adlam versus Familiaris heading towards the final corner to complete lap number 1. Yes, that was only lap 1 of this race. Can you believe that? All that action being provided here by Mobil 1 V8 Supercars. Back on board with Familiaris as they cross the line and complete that first lap in anger. Jules, as I said, wants to try and make up ground now. He does not want to give a 7th championship back-to-back to Mackie Adlam. So he has to try and get a victory here and try and keep Mackie Adlam as far back as possible. Not always an easy thing to do. We heard in the interview how quick the Corvettes are. Let's go back to a quick replay As they head down here, this is Familiaris' point of view, heading down in towards turn number 1. Look out for the spin coming from the hard charge, and that's the reason why. Oh, Reeb just came in there way too hot. Climbed on the anchors and looped it out. So Thomas Reeb making that all on his own sim. Now heading back towards Clubhouse. Just further back from that. Look how they're lining up their fantastic run here so far from the second and third place battle that's raging there. Reeb has made his way up. This is good. He's up into about 6th place overall there. And he's ticking them off one by one. Next in sight will be Ben Morgenroot. I was about to say, Morgenroot and Wilford were having a bit of an epic fight in that first lap. That's been raging for a long, long time. Remember Larry Wilford and Ben Morgenroot. Oh, in the background, is that Terry Wilford coming on? Yes, he is. He's got the car going again. So that's just warning drivers that he's coming through there. I saw flags waving. And Wilford should be able to get back on track now. He's a lap down, but hopefully he can get that Fuchs and Schick sponsored car back into the running. Onto the black stuff. Let's have a listen. Seems to be okay. Here's a replay of what happened with Terry Wilford ending up to the top of the hill, leading the race at this stage, coming through that little right-hand kink and then up onto the braking point. This is where it just completely runs out of brakes by the looks of it, and he goes sliding across the kitty litter and into the barrier. And that's that Fuchs and Schick machine out. Speaking of progress, Familiaris has made huge progress. He's now right underneath that wing of Mackie Adlam and looking for a chance to steal the lead away. Adlam's going to make it very difficult for him, but you heard from Larry Wilford earlier on how fast these Chevys are around Kyalami. And that Corvette in the hands of Julian Familiaris has been a very, very fast car all season long. That's why he has the championship lead. Looking for an inside line. Can he find it? No, he's too far back at this stage. And lovely to see how hard Mackie Adlam is having to fight here for potentially his 7th back-to-back title. It's not quite in his hands just yet. Familiaris has still got the advantage. But with that victory yesterday, Mackie Adlam has brought himself back into contention again. Looks like there might be a little bit of battle scars on the back end of Mackie Adlam's car as well. Was it just a decal that might have just come loose? But we'll keep an eye on that just in case. Heading through there, looking for Thomas Reeb. How far back is he? There's Morgenroot, and I think Reeb is just behind Morgenroot. So I'm just keeping an eye on the progress of Thomas Reeb as we get into the second race in full flight. And Tony Marks closing things down there on Lombard. Behind that's Morgenroot. Morgenroot ahead of Reeb. Reeb ahead of Wilford. Doesn't look like that Mobil 1 car has been able to bridge the gap just yet there on Ben Morgenroot. But Morgenroot's certainly having a fantastic run back in a class that him and Larry Wilford have been in since 1984. Originally the modified saloons, then became the West Bank ones, and then of course moved on to what is now Mobil 1 V8 Supercars. And just more of the same coming. You heard from Terry at the top of the show how things are looking for the future of this category. And they're looking pretty bright, with a couple of new guys looking to buy some cars and get into the mix here. Adlam hangs on. Familiaris tries to close him down, can't find a way through just yet. So there's a bit of pressure coming from Jules. He's quick through the tricky stuff here, but it looks like they're pretty evenly matched when it comes to top end. Julian Familiaris is going to have to try and find somewhere around the wily old fox that is a 6-time back-to-back champion in Mackie Adlam. This is Adlam's on board from the back of the wing, across the line and down towards Crowthorne. 270 kilometers an hour before they climb on the anchors here, 4th gear, and then drop it down into 1st for Crowthorne. It's a long 1st gear these cars ride. Oh, and there's a great move. I was kind of expecting to see that the last lap, so that's why I wasn't really looking for it this lap. But Familiaris makes it stick in towards Crowthorne and now leads the race. They can do 140 k's an hour in 1st gear, going back to my original thought before I got changed up there slightly by the move for the lead. And that's just how awesome these cars are. So the fight is on here, and it's a big fight. Lombard now coming under a little bit more threat. In fact, he's dropped behind Ben Morgenroot into the clutches of Larry Wilford. So looks like Warren Lombard might be having a bit of a problem there in the Pep Boys automotive machine. Inside line, there you go. Oh, and Wilford nearly sneaks through. Can't quite get there just yet, though. And Tony Marks is coming along for the ride. Fight's on, 3-way fight heading into the S's. Morgenroot getting away ever so slightly. Thomas Reeb just in the background, keeping an eye on him as well. Oh, a little touch there. A little glance there between the two cars coming out of the entrance point. And then Sam Dahl follows through. And Sam Dahl down in 8th place at the moment. Good run here from our international prospect. He comes from international duties in Europe and comes and plays all the time with the Mobil 1 V8 Supercar drivers. Now as they come into Crocodiles one more time. It's a battle on again between Morgenroot and 3 cars behind him. He holds them up for now. Can we see a move here coming out of Lombard? Will he find a way past? That's exactly what he's trying here. You can see just how hard he is trying in that bumper-to-bumper machine. Trying to find a way through there on Ben Morganut, but on his tail is Wilford. Wilford is bringing in 20 marks along for the ride. Four-way fight. And they're all fighting for a possibility of that top 3 finish. Looks like Julian Familiar is pulling away ever so slightly now from Adlam. So Adlam at this stage, just keeping it all together in second. And he's hoping that maybe there'll be a little bit of an issue once again on Familiaris' car. Ooh! Lombard opens up the door and Tony Marks dives and pounces and sneaks his way through there in the second of the Corvettes. So it looks like the bumper-to-bumper man and Pep Boy's automotive car taking a little bit of strain here. Trying to find a way back now at Tony Marks, who goes on the attack. And that's onto the first of those Fuchs cars of Larry Wilford. Wilford hanging on and goes defensive into Clubhouse. No luck there for Tony Marks just yet. Lombard drops back slightly. One of these picked up a bit of an issue there into the second heat. Top of the hill, Familiaris is the leader. And Demeter Racing's Corvette still maintains a nice margin over that Adlam Auto Jaguar. Back on board with Mackie. Let's have a listen now as they head down the mine shaft and into the sweep. Oh, a little lift. Slight lift there from him. I thought he might go through flat, but maybe it's this time of the race where they might not have as much traction as what they've had all weekend long in that first heat. Got to take my hats off to that team for the rebuild they did on that car after the crash he had in qualifying. Got him to the front end in race number 1. It's got him to second place now in race number 2. But Julian Familiaris' team at Demeter Racing have also done an amazing job to ensure that that electrical issue has been sorted out now for race 2, and the victory is going to be his. So it's Familiaris from Adlam as they cross the line. Further back, the Corvette's got ahead of Larry Wolford, so Tony Marks having a good run here in the Reman car. Heading to the line now for race number 2. That's going to finish him up in 5th place. Wolford will still hang on by the looks of it. No, he's not. He's going to lose out just there to Tony Marks in the GT2 class. Let's get official results though. It is Familiaris from Adlam. Thomas Reben eventually in 3rd place. Good recovery from him, beating out Ben Morganut ahead of Tony Marks and Larry Wolford. Warren Lombard down in 7th. Dahl Herbst and Terry Wolford, the top 10. Wolford will look to come back in race 3. Let's find out from Terry what happened.
Yeah, got cracker of a start. Sort of as the lights turned, I was just pretty much getting ready on the gas, so it was quite well predicted, should I say. Yeah, unfortunately, you know, we changed pads, we sorted out a few things, and then going up West Bank to the hill there, I don't know what happened, jumped on it and became a passenger into the tyre wall. So luckily it's not too bad. Only damage is to my heart, but yeah, besides that, we're just going to try and get it ready for now for the reverse grid of race 3 and get it sorted out. But my guys are on it. We'll just try and see what's happened and what's going on.
Top 5 finish after a good run from Tony Marks.
Yeah, well, it started off with me getting ahead of him on the start, and then I just tried to stick with Warren, and we built a bit of a gap. But at the same time, it seemed like Larry came with Ben, and they caught up with us. And then Larry got past me, and then yeah, we just stuck with Larry, and then waited for him to make a mistake. He's a wise old fox. And he pulled the same move on me the first time around, so I thought that I'd get one up on him this time.
Same thing happened here with Julian Familiaris in race 2 with the victory.
Yeah, look, today was a much better day. Yesterday was quite a hard sore day after our race 1 result. So we started off race 2, clean slate today, and we just tried to get through turn 1 quite cleanly. Thomas made a slight error and he ran off. Terry had a great start, so he managed to get himself into P1. I slotted behind Mackie in 3rd position, and I just carried on and tried to see where I could find more pace on him. And eventually on about lap 5 or 6, I managed to make the move down in turn 1 and bring it home to take the victory. So we're super happy. I'd just like to thank my team. They've put in an insane amount of effort to Demeter Racing for prepping the car, and to Gavin Wilkins Racing. I really appreciate it.
Time to get going now for race number 3, the final one of the weekend here at Festival of Motoring and Mobil 1 V8 Supercars. Now remember, it's a complete reverse grid here for this third and final heat. Ben Morganroot and Terry Wolford are alongside each other due to the fact that they had some bit of issues there. Warren Lombard will be looking to capitalise. He normally does on a reverse grid, but he's got Julian Familiaris alongside him, Mackie Adlam and Thomas Reeb alongside each other just behind that. Then it's Dahl taking on Herbst, and 20 Marks and Wolford going to resume their battle for GD2. Now this is Adam. Oh, 4 abreast into the kink, getting towards Crowthorne. That could end up in tears. Usually does. They eventually just give each other enough room to get through. Thomas Reeb is not wasting time at all. He's ducked up on the inside of Julian Familiaris, looking for second place. And it's Lombard. Oh, a little tap between Lombard and Adlam coming out of Crowthorne. Don't want to be doing too much damage to the front end. That bumper to bumper is showing you how to go bumper to bumper, isn't it, Warren? Right onto the bumper there of Mackie Adlam. But he lost a little bit of ground because of that. We go on board here with Thomas Reeb. Slightly different angle here, looking at the way the man has to work so hard in the cockpit of that Chevy Lumina. Currently sitting in third place as they go through Sunset. Watching those rearview mirrors. Smooth driving style there, and the reason he's watching those rearview mirrors is because he's got Adlam right on his tail. Adlam looking to pounce early on to try and find a way through. But it's Morganroot who leads out. Ben Morganroot at the front end of a V8 supercar field. We haven't seen that in a long time, but a big welcome return there for him, Ben. And let me tell you something, he's going to be one of the most difficult cars to get past in the history of V8 supercar racing. As they head back up to the top of the hill, this is where Wolford had problems in race 2. And we're going to keep an eye on him in the background. He had to come from the back of the pack, and he seemed to have lost a little bit of ground now, almost from the word go. Remember, he started on the front row with that reverse grid after the demise, and looks like, is there problems again for Terry Wolford? It could possibly be. Heading down into the bowl, it's Ben Morganroot leading things out over Familiaris. He's got Reeb and Adlam right on his tail, hunting down a possibility of a 7th back-to-back title. But with Familiaris with a win and him slightly up the road, it means it's going to be a bit more difficult there for Mackie Adlam. Lombard now into the clutches of Wolford in the background as well. That's Larry Wolford in the first of the Fuchs and Schick machines as they come through Ingwe Corner to complete the first lap in anger. Ben Morganroot, as I said, it's going to be a tough man to beat. Thomas Reeb pushing hard here in the Mobil 1 car. Can he do anything about it? He goes to 4th. Now he goes up the gearbox. Oh, and as he does that, there is a late bit of braking coming out of Adlam. And Adlam slides through into Crowthorne. He's hung on, only just. Oh, there's gearbox issues again. You can see Reeb has battled all weekend with those gearbox issues. And he's having more of the same here in the third and final heat. You can't drive a race car at full tilt if the gearbox is not working well. And Thomas Reeb is doing a superb job to try and ensure he can get everything right. See, 2nd to 4th. You can just pick it up on his dashboard there. He's got no third gear whatsoever. So it's 1, 2, and 4 that Thomas Reeb is playing with. This is Familiaris diving through for the lead. He gets ahead of Ben Morganroot. Morganroot is going to have to fight hard now to try and find a way through here on this championship leader. The Dimito Corvette sliding into the S's, slides out of the S's as well, up towards the top of the hill. They go again in anger. And this car seems to be working well. We've done a great job there with Gavin Wilkins and Dimito working together to ensure those electrical issues have gone and are not going to be seen again. But he runs wide out of Leeuwkop. Don't do that with Ben Morganroot or Mackie Adlam on your tail. They'll make you pay. Adlam's point of view through the sweep. Oh, and he runs right onto the rumble strip to get as much of that sweep's advantage as he can, and that helps him out to close back onto the tailpiece of Ben Morganroot. Morganroot having a phenomenal run here. Really, really great to have him back in the series. Stalwart of the series. Where's Adlam? Oh, he dropped back slightly there. Mackie Adlam maybe will get a bit of a gear issue himself. He dropped slightly back off the tailpiece there, Ben Morganroot. They were very close as they left the bowl, and they're now 2 or 3 car lengths, making almost 10 car lengths there between them as they cross the line. I wonder if Adlam's picked up a bit of an issue. This is Larry Wolford looking for a victory in GD2, looking to wrap up the overall for GD2 for the weekend. Lombard's behind him. He's got Antony Marks closing him down. So Lombard and Antony Marks going to resume a battle. Here comes an attack from Adlam on Morganroot. This is the mayor of Randfontein versus the king of Randfontein, I would have to say. Both boys coming out of Francisco Fontaine. And they love it, coming to race here at Kyalami, particularly Ben Morganroot, who's had some epic battles in the past on this circuit. And some that come to mention, of course, with the late great Tony Viana. Willie Hepburn was involved in some of them as well. And now it's Mackie Adlam, who's in the mix here big time with Ben Morganroot. He'll be loving this. There's not a lot of chances you get to play in a V8 supercar with a man who's had almost 50 years of racing underneath his belt. Mackie Adlam's got 6 titles, so he's going to use that experience to try and stay with Ben. He's going to need it all, because Ben seems to be pulling away slightly as they go into the S's. As I said, it looked like Adlam might have had a little bit of an issue. Wasn't quite firing on song as what he was earlier on in the weekend. And he drops back again, under braking at the top of the hill into Leeuwkop. Sliding. Yeah, there's definitely an issue there. That's not like Mackie Adlam. You don't see him making mistakes like that into a corner that's normally easy as silk for him. And as they come up there, and 20 marks also closing things down there on Lombard. But he's got to try and find a way past Lombard and then still catch Larry Wolford ahead of Lombard. So the GT2 battle continues as well. Top end. It's Morgenroot. Hasn't put a wheel wrong all race weekend long. He's had a fantastic return here to Mobil 1 V8 Supercars. Can he catch the champion? Well, the champion-elect. He's not the champion just yet, but he's certainly doing everything right to ensure that championship could be his. Julian Familiaris has taken one victory, and he needs another one to try and secure that championship points lead heading into the next round. As they cross the line again, it's Ben Morgenroot who's closing him down. Larry Wolford's got a comfortable margin, and he's got a bit of a buffer there with Lombard. A little bit of smoke out of the Fuchs car, and we have to keep an eye on that. Lombard in the meat and the sandwich between the two GT2 cars. Sam Dahl continues also another fantastic outing for him, looking for a slightly higher position. He's up into 6th place overall. So his highest finish so far is where he would be right now if the checkered flag came out. And behind him, it's 3rd place in GT2s. And that is the hard charge coming from Steve Hapst, up to 7th place overall. So bumper to bumper and Pep Boys Automotive trying to close down there on the Fuchs and Schick Mustang. And it's not going to be an easy battle there. You can see also some problems there. This is Wolford, a little bit further back. Terry Wolford, that is. And you can see him just circulating. There's definitely some brake issues on this car. Maybe just trying to stay out there to get as many points in the bag as he can with a slightly smaller field of V8 Supercars. No, that's it. He's pulled to the sideline. And Terry Wolford's day has just got worse. Oh, that's such a pity to lose him. So the Fuchs and Schick Mustang parked on the sideline. And that's the end of it for Terry Wolford. You can see him coming across the line there. He really started to have a little bit of issues. And got eaten up by Ben Morgenroot on the start. And the rest of the pack just go flying past him. So it doesn't look like it was only brake issues on this car. Looks like it might have been some kind of an engine failure too. Or some kind of a gremlin that's got into that car of his, not allowing him to finish up. Speaking of not allowing him to finish up, looks like Larry's got problems as well. Yes, Larry Wolford in the second of the Fuchs cars pulled into pit lane. So both of the Fuchs Mustangs pulling out of this race. That's huge. And 20 marks now takes the lead of GT2s. And speaking of the lead, possible change up here between Ben Morgenroot, who goes late on the brakes onto the inside of Julian Familiaris and retakes the lead. Familiaris comes back at him, but Morgenroot will have the inside line for the second part of Barbecue, heading to Yuxke now. Oh, brilliantly done. Morgenroot, an absolute stalwart of the series, and knows exactly where to place the car to ensure that his competitor and rival cannot find a way back. Jules in full flight, heading into Sunset. And I don't know if Julian Familiaris is going to have an answer now. Now that Ben Morgenroot has retaken that lead, he's going to make that Mustang of his as wide as probably 4 or 5 cars and not give any chance to Julian Familiaris to find a way back. Jules is not going to give it up without a fight, though, that is for sure. As they head back into the S's. Let's have a listen here. Everything seems to be working fine here on this machine. That Chevy is purring, heading to the top of the hill, but it's got no answer to the Ford. That Ford and Chevy battle continues, and the Ford leads out. 222, Ben Morgenroot, Ford and Mazda leading this race ahead of the Dimitar and Gavin Wilkins Racing Corvette. And ailing Mackie Adlam. Oh, he's got a flat! Back right flat there on Mackie Adlam's car. That is a huge, huge loss there, and you can hear it now on Adlam's car as he heads down the hill, trying to circulate. Will he be able to finish the race? We'll have to wait and see. You're going to see cars possibly coming past him because he wasn't too far ahead of Anthony Marks and Warren Lombard. He's got his hand up to warn them that he's got a slow or an issue. And another man with an issue was Larry Wolford. Let's find out what went wrong.
Okay, so it was popping the fuel pump fuses, and obviously you can't drive like that. I'm trying to reset them all the time, and it made sense just to retire the car. We've had a great weekend. It's been wonderful here at Kyalami, and I thought we would convert the third race, but that's how it is, and we'll look forward to the next race.
The next one being at Swartkops, but that's given Anthony Marks the lead now of GT2. Lombard will be coming up, and he'll be reveling on the fact that he'll be moved up slightly higher up in the GT1 category as he passes the ailing and flat-tired Jaguar there. That's a big pity to lose Mackie Adlam. It's definitely going to affect his abilities to get to the front of the championship again and maybe give Julian Familiaris a run for his money. Although Familiaris is having a run for his money as we watch Sam Dahl coming out of clubhouse. And he's got Steve Herbst closing him down. So Dahl and Herbst now in with a chance of finishing top 5. This is Familiaris. There's the gap to Morganroot. He hasn't got an answer. Morganroot has pulled away and is looking to take a victory here on his return to V8 Supercars. That is just an amazing turnaround there from a man who has been out of this series for a long while, but is certainly welcomed back. And what a way to be welcomed back. Checkered flag waiting. Third race, Ben Morganroot on the top of the podium. He beats out Julian Familiaris, who maintains his lead in the championship, as Anthony Marks was going to come through for 3rd overall and the win in the GT2 class. That's a great effort there. So 2 Corvettes on that overall podium. And it's the Ford of Morganroot who's the man to beat. And what an awesome time for him to come back at Kyalami and the Festival of Motoring with Mobil 1 V8 Supercars. Official results there with Morganroot taking the victory ahead of Familiaris and Anthony Marks in 3rd. Warren Lombard eventually finished up in 4th ahead of Haps and Sam Dahl, with Mackie Adams surviving 2 laps down. The Wilfords with some problems and Reeb with some gearbox issues. And a season best finish here for Anthony Marks. Let's find out how that 3rd race went.
Happy didn't start off that great. Pushed like into the pit lane there. But you know, just regrouped after that and then picked them off one by one. You know, kept the pressure on Warren and on Larry, and then I think eventually probably the guys started running out of brakes a bit, like all of us. But yeah, it was a long race. You know, 10 laps doesn't sound a lot, but at Kyalami it is quite a stint. But yeah, it was fun and just happy to finish.
2nd place and still leading the championship for Julian Familiaris.
Extremely happy. I just have to thank my entire team. Like I say, the Mateo Racing and Gavin Wilkins, they've really put everything they've had into this weekend to get us back up onto the podium. And you know, it was a really good race. It was a nice weekend. Thank you to Ben for joining us and making a good race. It was quite an honour to drive alongside him. And yeah, on to the next one. Yeah, thank you to Mobil 1.
Let's have a look at the championship standings. Julian Familiaris continues his lead over Mackie Adlam and Thomas Reeb. Steve Herbst also looks at the GT2 battle, but Anthony Marks has moved up to 2nd ahead of Larry Wilford in that battle, as they head to Red Star for the penultimate round on the 21st of October. All this V8 Supercar action is proudly brought to you by Mobil 1.